Hello and welcome again, once again on this Monday afternoon. My name's Simon Williamson and I'm here from the AVAGO-INK design team, so thanks again for joining us. If you are new as well and you've just found us, if you do like and subscribe to the channel, you will be kept informed of any notifications or news related to AVAGO-INK or any other communications for any of the other craft brands that we support here as well. So I can see lots of you already joined us as well. We've got Tracy on, Sandra, Hilary, Bill Bags, Anne, Roxy Lee. So nice to see lots of you joining us anyway. I did notice that Tracy's recovering from the dreaded COVID, so hopefully you're getting better soon and back on your feet. So let's start with the first demonstration, shall we? So I've got this Teepee card, which I think is a really fun, quirky design, and it means that you can have 3 scenes. So if you can revolve it, you can choose what scenes you get on every side, look. Nice bit of fun, and you can use these with any of the actual stamps that you've got at home, any of the characters. So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this. I'm just going to put this one to this side, just out of the way a second. Bring in my scoreboard. To start off, you just need 3 squares. And I've got this light blue for this time. So choose what size you want. I believe that these are just a bit over 5.5 inch. And that's so that I can use a 5.5 mat when I do the next bit. So these are about 5.5 inch. So I'm going to use my scoreboard to do a centre score line. And I'm using the number 4 as the line up on my board. And I've already got a pencil mark down here, so I know where the midway is. And I can run that all the way down, and I'm quite confident that's going to go down the centre. I'm going to do the same for all of these pieces. Just move it a little bit that way. Let's take a bit of time at this stage, and then you know it's all going to line up perfectly. And the last one, go into that 4 between those pencil marks. And drag that down. So there's a question there from Roxley. Does this card feel flat for posting? I will show you how to make it postable, but the one today I've glued it so it's like a solid structure. But I will show you where you can make it postable. It's really easy. It just needs some of that sticky Velcro. I'll show you when we get to that stage. Right, so you've got your 3 scored squares. And then what we're going to do is we're going to need a bit of glue. And we're going to glue these so they overlap. So we're going to simply glue one over the other, using the centre line as a guide. And we're going to make sure that we don't put any glue on this area here. So we only need glue above that area, okay? So if I move that away, I'll just put my thumb there so I know where I'm going to put it up to. So I know glue needs to be above that bit. So I'll put some wet glue on there. You could use tape as well, but I found the wet glue is really good at this. We're just going to position that right towards the top, along that score line, and make sure that's glued down securely. And we'll do the same for this side. So we're going to be gluing that one over the top of this one. So the same before, so we know where it finishes. So we're going to move that away, and I know I need to put glue above this line. Here we go, put that up there. Make sure that's all nice and level. We'll just give that a good firm push down. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to fold those back now that they're in position. We've got a centre fold. And this last one over here. And if I now just stand this up, that's the base of our Teepee card. You can see we've got a blank Teepee going all the way around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to decorate this. But because we've got this back bit, this is the bit when we're on about securing it. You can either glue this so it's a permanent structure, or you can put a little bit of Velcro here so that somebody can make it stand up, or they can post it flat, whichever they want to do. So that's our base layer. So I'm going to put that up there now. And then I'm going to bring in the stamping platform. And what I've done ahead of time is I've already made like a template to go in my Eureka. If I can just show you like this, just try and fold all the bits out of the way so you can see. So I've drawn around my actual card blank so you can see which orientation it's going to be. And then that way, when I stamp the scenery, it's not going to be skew-whiffed, because it's quite hard when you've got a triangle to picture where it's going to be, okay? That's how I've made it a bit easier for myself. And I've already got some blank stamping card. That's going to go over that section. And I've got a little bit for the corner, and that's going to go down there. I'm going to use the lovely background from the animal collection. The sunny background. It's a really big one, this. It's going to get lots of detail. I'm just going to push that up a little bit so it's a bit higher. So we're going to put that where we want it, which I think is going to be fine. Put the magnet on there so it supports it. Now this area here, I can't put a magnet on because the stamp's going to fully cover it. So we're just going to have to go for it on that one. Let's put that over there. Pick up the stamp. Make sure it's stuck on all the areas. And I'm just going to get my black VERSAFINE ink pad and give that a really good coverage of ink. There we go. And let's give that a good press down. So if I just push that down. It's a really fast way of doing this as well. And it means that they're all going to look similar on each side of the scene. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to move that away. And then I've got my main part. I've got my little corner there. I'm just going to put that over to one side so we don't need that for a second. So we've got little bits that we need here. So I need to now give a little bit of colour to these. So I'm going to bring in my watercolours. Get some wood. Ooh. Just get some towel for that. I'm sure that happens at home to you a lot. Here we go. I'm going to use these lovely Himi watercolours actually. They're really glossy, these actually, and they're really smooth to paint with. So let's start getting some green layers onto these hills really. Give some depth. So if we just mix some of this green up. Just going to block out these areas. And like I've said before, if you've watched a few of these demonstrations, just get the block of colour on first so we can go for more detail afterwards. And that across. I think we'll need a little bit more green in the distance. Bring that across there. Merge them two colours together to give a bit more difference. And just go in with a slightly darker green for these bushes. Really fast and simple. Don't be worried about putting too much detail in as well, because your character's going to do that for you in a second. So I've got that. And I'm just going to use this slightly darker green just to put a little bit of these furrows in to give a bit of a break in that large area. And you could do the same in these as well. There we go. And I'm going to do this little corner as well. So we'll get as lighter green. We'll just give this a wash all the way over. I've got fat fingers, I'm afraid, so I'm just trying to hold this as best as I can to show you. But yeah, give that a bit of a wash, and then same as that other one, I'm going to give a bit of definition by going on those furrow lines there. There you go, I'm happy with that. Put that bit to one side to dry. And then we're just going to do a bit of the skyline on this now. So rather than leave it white, I'm just going to give a little bit of a blue, a pale blue, just to break it up. I'll mix a very pale blue. I'm just going to bring that over the white just to break it up a little bit. And the same under the sun as well. I can use my brush then to push that around. I want it a bit higher, I want it to go in between them sun rays. There you go. I don't want it to be really blue, but it just takes the edge of that. And then we need a little bit of brightness on the sun now, so let's add a bit of yellow. And I think we'll have a bit of orange just to break it up as well. There you go. We've got our two little scenery squares made now. I'm just going to move the watercolours to one side in case I knock anything else over. So I'm just going to give them a quick blast with a heat gun just to actually make sure they've dried, because we don't want to be trying to glue wet paper, do we? So do that to one side. I'll just dry these. I'll notice a few questions, so I'll just have a look in a second. Okay, so we've got, let's have a look, question. How did you figure out the mats? Do you mean the mats for the image areas, Tracy? If you did, whatever I started with for this, well, let's say it was a 5.5 inch square, I just went down, so this would be like 5.25, or whatever kind of border you want to leave on it. I just altered it slightly, so I just kept the squares coming down, and then whenever you half them, they'll fit perfectly within the triangles. And then you've also, did you draw around the folded blank and then trim a bit from each side? No, so I did it the other way. So if you do a square and you take the actual dimension of that square down a little bit and then half it, you'll always get the mats that go within. Okay? Hopefully that's answered that question for you. So I've now got a darker card for my mat layer. You can see that's going to fit in, giving a slight border. So that's going to make our image pop. So let's get some glue onto that side. And then we'll pop that on there. And give that a little bit of a wiggle to make sure we've got the border that we want around each side. There you go, I'm happy with that. Give that a good push down. And I've got a little mat for the corner, so I'm just going to grab that. Same principle. I just made it slightly bigger than the 2-inch square that I've put in half of this corner. It's really easy to figure out as well. And if you want to make it easy for yourself as well, you don't have to do this corner. What you can do is you can leave that little bit blank. Oh. Sorry. You leave that bit blank there, and then you could just have like a blue leg sticking out. You could always put your sentiment there if you want to. I chose not to put a sentiment on this card, but I think it's quite nice as a scenery card. We'll just glue that into position. There we go, so we've got that. And then ahead of time, so I'm sure you don't want to see me doing it 3 times, I've already coloured another 2 backdrops and another 2 corners. So we've got everything ready now to start doing our backing on our card. So let's get these glued into position. It'll give them time to set while we get our characters done in a second. So we'll get some wet glue on this. And that's going to go in that section there. Make sure that's all secure. And this is what I was saying about when you were stamping the background. It goes at a funny angle until you assemble the card. So you've got to just kind of trust yourself a bit or make a template, whichever's easiest for you. Put a little corner piece in there. So like I said, that's the bits that are optional. If you don't want to do the smaller ones, you could leave that one out. I'm just going to push that down. And then we're going to get the other backing piece to do. And this one's going to go here. It builds up quite fast as well when you've got all the bits made. So maybe if you're going to do this as a project, you can make a few as you're going. And then the next bit, what I always do is just flip it over and you're going to just pull your card together to work out which bit's going to go where. So it's quite easy to think, where do I put this bit, and try and not get it right. If you think of it this way, you're going to put it onto this panel here, because this overlaps that little leg. If I could just tilt it there, you can see that line? You want to make sure it's on this side, so then hold that, reopen it, and then you know where you're going to be sticking this part, yeah? Let's get some glue onto this fella. Put that onto position. And I'm just going to hold it together again. So when you cross those bits over, then you know where this last triangle is going to go. It's going to go in that bottom section there. That's the very last bit. So if I know it's going to go there, I can just reopen it now. Put my finger there so I know where I'm going to be going up to. Bit of glue on there. Let's get that in that bottom section. Okay, so that's all our scenery panels in place. And because it's wet glue, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at the front just to dry a second while we look at our characters now. Right, so ahead of time I've already coloured a few of our little lovely farm animals out. So we've got the little pig, and we've got the little cow, and the sheep, and the little duck. But I'm going to watercolour in these two images as well. So we've got the horse and the rabbit, and that'll just finish our card off lovely. I'm going to bring back in the watercolours. I'll try not to spill it this time, I promise. And just get some of this lovely colour onto these. We'll get some of that nice brown on as a base layer to this little rabbit. And like I said before, you can build these up, so if you want them stronger after, you can. But I just want to get that base layer on there first. And I can pick up a bit more pigment then. And I want his ear to be a little bit dark on the top. I think we'll give him some darker paws. And then just darken around little legs, look. Make him look like he's got a lighter coloured tummy. Give him some little cheeks. That's our little rabbit, so we'll put that to one side. I'm going to do the horse now. I think we'll stick with this brown, so it's a really nice colour for them. We'll do the darker areas first. That's the mane and the tail. And the hooves. I think we'll make it match. And I'm just going to mix some of this creamier goldy kind of brown up. And we'll just brush that over the body to get some colour. And we'll go in, like I said, on the other one afterwards with a bit of definition. Take that around its eyes. I'm just going to do this little bit darker because it's underneath. I think we'll have a little bit more darkness around its nose to give a bit of definition around its cheek. There you go, I'm happy with that. You don't need too much detail, you just need to do enough so you're happy with it. I'm going to give these a quick blast off now. Make sure they're not too wet. There we go. And I'm just going to fussy cut these out now. So what are you all up to today then? Are you having Nice weather where you are. It's not so bad here, I've got to say. We're expecting rain, but it's not been raining today. I'm just going to fussy cut around these. Leaving a little bit of a border as well, just to make them characters pop a little bit more from the background. You could cut them exact if you wanted to. You could also use the dies as well that come with the stamps, but I'll let you into a secret. I forgot to bring mine today. I'm sure we've all had the moments when we can't find the die as well, so I thought let's fussy cut them. And then we'll do the horse. Round its face. Round its legs. A little bit of paint that's not dry there, so I'm just trying not to touch it much more. Nearly there. Round its ears. There we go. And we've got all our little characters there now. So we're ready to start building our card up now, which is the bit that's most fun, isn't it? Let's be honest. We're bringing our scenery. So if we look at it as in like a full scenery towards us, we can decide where we want the big animal and the small animal here. So I think we'll start off with our horse. Let's get him on some foam pads. I think we'll have our horse just there. And I think we'll have the duck with him. Just trim this down a little bit so it fits better on the actual pad. I think we'll have a little duck there, look. And then we'll turn this scene round. We'll just concentrate on this one next. So we've got our happy cow. It's a really friendly face one, I've got to say. Put that on there. We'll have him stood in the field as well. I think we'll have the little dancing pig down there at the bottom, look. And we'll turn it this way. So we've got the sheep to go on this one here. I'll just get a few more pads. I think we will just fold it this way. You can see where it's going to be again. So if I hold it like that, you'll be able to see. So let's have our sheep just at that side. And then with the rabbit, this is the bit that you might just want to decide where you want to position. But if you're going to have this to post, you don't want to glue over this area. So what I'm going to do is just use his head and stick his head on and leave his legs loose. And then that way we can cover both bases. So I'm just going to put that down a second. I'll just get a sticky pad for its head. And just hold that again so I can see which position. I want to stick that over there and towards that top half. So I think it was Tracy that were asking how to make it postable. So this is the zone that you're going to do it on. So if I just get my brush. So behind here, I'll hold it this way for you. So behind this edge here is where you need to put some sticky Velcro. So what you would do is you'd put some Velcro, if I put a little mark on here, there and there, and then when the person receives it, they can fold it up and use the Velcro to secure it, and it'll stand up as a nice structural card. If you just want it for display, then you're going to put glue down there instead. So for today, I'm just going to glue it, okay? But that's how I would make it postable. Let's get some glue onto this. Hold that into position. Let's give that a good press down. And then, there we go. That's our Teepee card. And you can see it's really good Really creative that you've got all those scenes on each side. You've got your horse, you've got your cow and your pig, and you've also got your sheep and your rabbit. Just still going that little bit. So hope you've enjoyed that first demonstration. And we're going to give you some inspiration now with the rest of the animal collection, some lovely cards that the design team helped me make. And I'll be back here in a couple of minutes for the next demonstration. So we'll see you in a second. And welcome back. I can see from the comments you enjoyed the Teepee cards. That's nice to see. I think it was Hillary as well that said it would make a good Christmas tree shape. I think that'd be a fantastic idea, really. But it's a good base card, isn't it, to have in your knowledge how to make, because it's not as hard as it looks. Right, so now I've got a really fast card for you, this one, but I think it's really effective. It's just showing you how you can use your background dies to make stencils as well. And this is one of the new Thirsty Brush ones that I've launched. I can't remember the name, but I will find it in the comments if you want me to do that later. But I'm just going to show you how you can make this lovely effect where you've got the die cut at the top, and you've also used it as a stencil as well for the bottom. And those new Izink sprays really lend themselves to this kind of really funky card, isn't it? So let's get started. I'll show you how to make this one. So I'm going to put that to the front. So I brought my little spray box with me. I've been using these plastic ones because I find they're a little bit better than a card, and you can wipe them out every time and you've got them forever then, really, haven't you? So this is the Thirsty Brush die that I've been using. So it's the one that's got, it's got little teardrops in it almost, but it's such a lovely design, I've got to say. But to save a bit of time, I've already die cut it out for you. So I've got the die cut already, and I have got a blank piece of card. And what I want to do is lay them on top of each other. So you've got the blank one underneath, and you've got the actual die cut on top. And then that way, when we spritz the top layer, we're going to get a stencil on the bottom layer automatically. So it's almost like two cards in one. So let's start off with some of this yellow sunflower. This is the sunflower one. So we'll start light, we can build it up. So let's get some yellow on there. I think I want it a bit heavier in them corners. And then I've got a lovely corresponding colour, which is called Wild Rose. So it's a nice pinky, vibrant kind of colour, but it mixes with the yellow to make a bit of a red, almost like a fiery colour. There we go. And because I don't want to manage this like bubbly effect, I'm going to use a little bit of the towel just to tap some of that off. You could let it settle though if you wish, but I want to take some of it off really. So I'm just going to use this, I'm just going to lightly just tap over those areas so I don't get the big bubbles in the design. There we go. I'm just going to lift this out. I'll move my box away. Are you ready for this when I take this off? Look how pretty that is underneath. Really great way of making two really good colourful backgrounds, and you can mix them colours to whatever you want. So because I'm going to be using these now, I'm just going to give them a quick blast with a heat gun just to make sure they are fully dried. They are already touch dry, but because we're cutting, I don't want to rip this paper. Let's give them a blow. Let's do this one. There we go. And then that way we're not going to ruin his work. So I'm just going to move these sprays out of the way now. Just shows you though with the sprays that you don't need every colour. You can just have two vibrant colours and make them mash together. Okay. So I've already got my card blank, which is going to be a tent fold design. And what I've done is I've cut a matte layer that's just a slightly smaller. So I've got a really fine black border going around the edge. It's hard to show you until on the black, but I've done that for you. And then what we're going to do is use this as the base of our card. So the first thing I'm going to do is put these together. I'm just going to bring up the guillotine. I'm going to pop that through. And I'm going to cut this at an angle. So I think we're going to go about there, yeah? Hold that down. Just put that under there. So instantly now, if you do this, you've got two cards left. You can make two cards like this way. What I'm going to do today is just going to concentrate on one. And so I want to use this bit for the sentiment on the other card. So that's why I'm going to do it this way. So let's put them to one side for a second. We'll do it on one section. I'm going to get my wet glue again. I'm going to put some wet glue on the bottom of this card, just so we can get the first bit put into place. Right up to the edge so it bonds really well. And I want to lay this across, so I think we're going to go just about there. Give that a good push down. And I'm going to continue the glue so we can put the top half there. So I've actually just wipe a little bit of that glue off, because I've just done it a little bit high. I don't want it to ruin the effect when this goes on the top. So I'm going to use the glue and just put some little dots in between the cutouts. Don't want to put too much on this, you don't want it to squeeze out, but it will dry clear anyway if that does happen. Just put some in. I'm not too bothered about the line there because I'm going to be gluing it on a different way anyway in a second. Okay. So we can put that up to his other cut line. Make sure we're happy with that. And then push that down. Give that a good push down to make sure that glue contacts. And then we can turn this over and we're just going to trim around this black now to make sure this is all level. So I'm just going to bring the guillotine back up. I've not used a guillotine like this, so if it goes wrong, I'm blaming you a lot. So we're going to make sure that's level on there. And we'll just trim that down. We'll do the same for the other side. I love it when you use a guillotine or a trimmer, though. It just frames your artwork straight away. You can see how it's going to come together. I'll cut that a little bit off in a second, so it's still a little bit damp with the ink. So, yeah. Just get the scissors in for that last bit. Move the trimmer out of the way. You can see now we've got a really nice background effect coming together. So I'm not so keen on this join line here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little bit of orange ribbon which I found in my stash, which I think really goes well with this kind of colour scheme that we're doing. So to secure that, I think we'll use some red liner tape. I think that's always the best for ribbon in my opinion. But run some of that across that join. Turn it over. We'll just secure that to the back. And we'll take that covering off. Ooh. We just rested it on the sellotape there so the double-sided doesn't stick to the mat, which is how I do it at home. I've been there before where it stuck to the table. Push that down, turn it over, and then we can just glue that onto the back. The same with the other side. Trim those bits off we don't need. You can see that it really just hides that join line up, so you get that kind of like continuation of your theme of colour. Right, I'm just going to move these bits out of the way. So I brought along one of, I think, Tony's original dies, the Love Sentiment. So I'm going to cut out the back end in the black, because I think it's going to really make it pop. And then I'm going to use this bit, and we're going to use the love out of that, so we can kind of get them orange tones coming back through again. So let's get the die plates in. Put that one on there. And that one there. We'll just pop that through. And what we can do while we wait is just mat this onto our layer. So we can just give it a little bit of foam and put it into there if you want, or you can glue it flat. I think I'm going to glue it flat today. I'm just going to put that onto my card blank and get that in position. That's it, give that a good push down. And I'll bring in the die cuts that we've just made. We've got the love background, and then we've got the love sentiment. Just try and get it off this board a second. She always wants to eat it when I do this, I tell you. There we go. I'll just move them to one side, so we don't need them at the moment. So by doing that, we've got the continuation of our pattern that we've got here, and it'll just give it a really good border so it pops. So let's glue that onto there now so we get that secured. I'm just going to put some glue on these larger areas. There we go. And then we'll just turn that over. And put that on there. There we go, give that a good push down. I'm going to glue that just over there. It's covering the ribbon almost, and it kind of spans both areas. Let's give that a bit of glue. And I think we'll have that going just across there, look. And give that a push down. Then we need to finish it off really with a character down here. I think the one that I chose for the card was the lovely little cow. It's such a lovely character, and it can be peeping from the edge of the card. So if I just show you like that, you can see it coming on, or you could have one of the other smaller characters, but I think this one really fits well with this design. So we're going to have him put out and put down there. So let me just get piece of stamping card. Get my scissors a second. We've got enough there just to stamp our lovely cow onto. I'll bring up the stamping platform once again. Just a brave bit. Just take our background scene on from our previous demo. Here we go. We'll put that there, hold it down with a magnet. I want to stamp it in black anyway, so I think it's a really big image. You don't need too much colour, this one. Let's give that a good push down. Bring in the ink pad. Using the VERSAFINE black as well. That's my kind of go-to black ink pad at the moment. Push that down. You can see with textured cardstock, sometimes you get a little bit of miss in your print, so all you need to do is just go in again, which is the beauty of the stamping platform. Give that a good push down. Try one more time. There you go. I'm happy with that anyway. So we'll do that, and we've got that better kind of colour going on. I'm just going to move this to one side. I'm just going to use the watercolours again, so let's give a little bit of a pink around its mouth, so it's got like a bit of a pink nostril and lips. If that's too pink, I just need to tone that down a little bit. So just pink that out there. I don't need to do too many colours because obviously we've got a really colourful background for this one. We'll go for that, and I think we'll just give him some brown hoofs. I'll do the udder's pink as well. I might just tone that down a little bit more bright, I mean. I think that's better. I'm just going to colour its little bell in now, so we'll get a little bit of gold on there. And then let's use a brighter colour, so let's have this purple kind of colour. Just to glue in like the necktie for the bow. There you go. I'm not going to do any more than that because, like I said, there's a lot of colour going on in the background. So I'm just going to give that a quick blast with a heat gun now to make sure that's all dried. Here we go. I'm just going to bring in my die plates again, so I'm going to run this through now to cut him out. We'll pop that on there. I think I might be all right actually without any tape, so we'll just give that a bend to make sure it's in position. Happy with that. I'll just lift my other plate, make sure that's trapped and secure. There we go. And we'll just pop that through. Ooh, there's lots of comments. I'm just going to have a read through, see if I've missed anything. No, I think I'm up to date with all the questions. Nearly there. Here we go. And we'll get our little cow out now. Put that to one side. So you can decide where you want to position him. So if I hold this card up for a bit different for you. I'll do it like that. So, like I say, you can have him just coming on the corner, you could just have his head. You could have the whole cow on if you want to. I think what I'm going to do is chop half his body off so it looks like he's just popping around that corner like that. think it's really good, and with these colours it just really makes it pop. So I'm just going to cut that down. So I might as well just use my mini trimmer for that. I think we'll just cut it just down there. And I can just check to see if I'm happy with that or I want to do more. I think actually I might just take a little bit more off so it's not actually touching that sentiment. So I'll just do a slight bit more. That's better. I like that better, so let's do that. And I'll just get some foam pads, because I think we should give them a little bit of height. Put one there. And we can put him almost like he's like stepping on that bottom bit, and we'll just move up to that edge as well. There you go. That's the second demonstration today. Just try and get it to stand up for you. There you go. That's the second demonstration. Them Izinks really do mean that you can just use your white card and make really interesting creative backgrounds. I do suggest getting some and have a play, I really do. I mean, I think they're going to increase your crafting really well. I'll bring in that other card. So that's the other one that we did. We've done two really good demonstrations today. We've got that Teepee card and we've had that background card as well, using the die cut and the stencils. I think you've got most age groups covered with those two, so hopefully you'll be able to adapt them to what stash you've got. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again next week, same time. See you later. Bye-bye.